All right, everybody, welcome to the dojo. Here it is about 5:30 in the a.m. on a Tuesday. No, Wednesday. That's because it's 5:30 in the a.m. So this is where I get down. This would be the studio slash gym. So I try to wake up every morning, come in here, bust out some sets, working on that dad bod. So really, just trying not to be completely gross when I go out in public and people see me. I used to be a lot more in shape, not so much anymore. Skip that diet crap. You don't have time for that when you have kids. And as you can see, there's my son's little bench press area. And here we have the inspiration wall. The strapping, handsome young man with all the cuts and muscles was me. I was about 23, 24. I'm pretty much all through my 20s. I stayed pretty well in shape. I'm 40 now, so, I figure as long as my gut's not completely hanging over my belt loops, I'm doing all right. There's that bike I never use. There's a bed for the dogs when they want to come in and hang out with me. All right, so let's get into it, man. We're going to look at today the Squalematic Atmos 60. Now, most of you have heard of Squale before. There's some online reviews of the Squale 1545, their GMT watches, things like that. The only time I've ever seen anyone really do a review of the Squalematic Atmos 60 would be Mark from Long Island Watch. But his are kind of, he's just sort of showcasing them. I don't feel like he really gets down to what it's like to actually own the watch, so I'll try to do that for you today. We're not even going to bother with a lume shot on this thing. It's pretty poor. Guys, if you're looking for a watch with lume, you obviously need to go with Seiko. Even Zelos has really good lume, but I'm not a big fan of Zelos. I had one of their watches. I had the Swordfish. I wasn't very impressed with it. I felt like I kind of fell into the hype of all the reviewers online. But anyways, let's look at this Squale, man. As you can see, very beautiful, very shiny. A lot of facets and as far as detail and everything there. So we'll start off with the dimensions, specifications. I think that's a good place to start with any of these things. So the Squale Swiss Automatic Movement ETA 2824-2. Mine's been very accurate, plus 2 seconds a day, basically. The lume on it, it is Super Luminova. It's bright. It doesn't last a whole lot, a whole lot of time there. And there's really not a lot of real estate for it either. So let's see here. Date wheel at 3 o'clock. This watch retails for about $1,200. And I feel like for that price point, they framed the date wheel, but maybe they could have made sort of a bevel on it or done sort of a metal frame. It doesn't look bad. It's nice, but, it's basically just a cutout like you'd see on a Seiko, but they put a little white painted frame around it. What else? The case, it's 316L stainless steel, highly polished, is very shiny. This thing catches a lot of light. So, it is a fun watch to wear. It's kind of big and hefty. We'll get into that in a minute here. The bezel, very interesting. It's this shiny black. The material is Bakelite, so it's really a throwback to the dive watches of the 60s, which, if you guys are familiar with Squale, they made cases for Tag Heuer. I believe they did Rolex. Maybe not Rolex cases. No, Tag Heuer. You can look it up. I definitely know Tag Heuer was one, and there was some other nice brands in there, but just a little history. As far as that Squale logo down at the 6, which a lot of people don't like, it's got this double logo thing on the face of all their watches. Squale at the 12, Squale down at the 6. That's because, like, for example, when they were doing those Tag Heuer cases, they would put that Squale logo down at the bottom, and then there'd be, Tag or whoever at the top at 12. And then Squale started making their own watches a couple years back, so the Squale is now at the 12 and at the 6. So the 6 o'clock logo, really just a throwback to their own heritage. What else? Crown, screw down crown at the 4 o'clock there. And let's see here. Again, cell phone camera. And I don't, it's signed. It's kind of hard to see. I think it's a little laser etching, but yeah, it's pretty nice. Let's see here. Oh, now I remember my first review. We were talking about. You got to see this. How can I show this to you? The sapphire crystal. Look at that dome, y'all. The 62 Moss homage watch, which was that San Martin. People were calling that. Well, there's only really one good review in English of that online, and the guy was saying it's a domed or double domed sapphire crystal, whereas I felt like it's more of a box top or whatever sapphire crystal. This is the difference. I mean, look at that. That is beautiful. That looks like a spaceship to me, y'all. That is so cool. That's a double dome sapphire crystal. You got the AR coating on this bad boy. It is very, very beautiful. Obviously, the difference is the one on the San Martin is going to be a lot more flat, which, I guess I could do a wrist check. That is what I'm wearing today, and maybe we can kind of see some of the difference there. So here's the wrist check for today. San Martin 62 Moss homage. Again, this is my most recent watch, and I think you can see the difference there between the dome on the Squale and how this one is. It comes up and then just squares off. So again, box top crystal or top hat is the other kind of style I've heard of that referred to as. Let's see here. Lug width 22 millimeters on this. So if you want to switch out straps, you can. I don't know what it is. Anytime I switch straps on this thing, it's been pretty difficult for me. I've had this thing give me some rough times in the past. So I try not to switch out too much. Came with this mesh bracelet and screw links on this. It's not too bad to adjust on that. I've only got one additional link in there, but again, I have a 7-inch wrist, so it does wear pretty comfortably for me. Water resistance on this sucker, 600 meters. So if you want to go down to the Mariana Trench, I guess you could. Not really, I'm being facetious, it's much deeper, but tons of water resistance. Here we have the milled clasp, and it's pretty good, it's pretty secure. Here you can see the case back, screw down case back, because again, it's a true dive watch. And oh, there's a finger for all y'all wondering what my fingers look like. Man, my reviews are really crap. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really not one of those professional guys on YouTube. But yeah, it's pretty shiny. Let's see if we can get this thing to focus for you. It says Squale on there. There we go. Professional sapphire crystal, Swiss made, automatic. It's got the spec sheet right on there. So yeah, it's nice, comfortable. The dimensions, man, this is 44 millimeters in diameter, 51 millimeter from the lug to lug. So it's not very long as far as, compared to, I think, the diameter as far as the dimensions. The Squale cases, they're very famous for their cases. You can see how those lugs turn down. I really do wish this thing had drilled lug holes in it, because for some reason, man, switching out straps anytime I've done it has been just a pain in the butt. The thickness, of course, you see that dome, right? So 15.8 millimeters thick with that sapphire crystal. And again, just very gorgeous. Catches a lot of light play on that. So it's a very fun watch to have out in the natural sunlight. Um, Again, I use this watch. It's not just a, you know, a kind of watch that stays in my watch box untouched, which for $1,200 basically, for me, is really expensive. I'm just kind of a average Joe, middle class dude in the suburbs. So, fun story about how I did get this watch. If you guys get on Facebook, there's a lot of different watch groups that do raffles. They call them waffles because they're watch raffles. So that's cute. But yeah, the very first waffle I did, that's how I won this thing. Yeah, it's $28 buy-in out of 40 or 50 spots. So they spun the wheel, number landed on mine, and I got a $1,200 watch for 28 bucks. So not a bad deal. Power reserve on this is 42 hours, so you can put it away for a day or so, come back and get it out and it's still running. So that is definitely nice. We just mentioned price, so that's something we'll look at next. I got the Chromebook up here so we can surf the web. Now, Nauman has these, and I think Nauman is a really good site for getting your watches here. Let's see. There's the specifications. Let's scroll back up. There we go. Squalematic Atmos 60. And they're going to have better pictures on that computer screen than what I can actually show you just on this camera phone. I actually have a nice camera. It's my wife's. We got her some really nice Canon DSLR that does video, but I haven't been able to figure out how to use that thing. So I guess I really don't. Sorry, I'm scrolling up and down because I'm looking for the little. There's an arrow button where you can kind of run through the different pictures that they have, and instead of just boring you with showing you a video of a computer screen, I'll just skip all that. One thing I did want to mention, again, it's about $1,200 retail, so you can go to Nauman and get one of those brand new for that price. You can go to eBay. Excuse me. Edit that out, guys. This is the other colorway that they have. This is actually a quick little side note. When I got into that waffle on Facebook, this was the picture of the watch that they were showing, and I thought that is the most beautiful watch I've ever seen. Yeah, I'll throw in 28 bucks for a spot to win that. When I won, they sent me the all black one, so there's that. I mean, but I can't complain. It's a $1,200 watch for $28 buy-in on a raffle. This one, $1,199, and it's pre-owned. So, probably not perfect condition, maybe some scratches, who knows. But to me, man, the sellers on eBay are ridiculous, y'all. Always check your prices. Go to Amazon, go to Nauman Watches, go to the retail sites and see what these things are retail, because man, I'll say 9 times out of 10, sellers on eBay are trying to get retail prices on a pre-owned watch, and that is ridiculous to me. So it's just something that I always do when I'm thinking about buying a watch. I definitely shop around. Now, Squale, one other thing, they always send you an additional bracelet or strap or whatever with their watches. This one did come with that, and I'll pull that out. I'm not going to put that on here because, again, that's a huge pain in the butt, but this is what it is, y'all. It's this little brown strap. It's pretty good looking. I've actually put it on some other watches before. I had a Seiko SKX I put this on. But I like the mesh bracelet, especially being a dive watch. It's the summer. You can see there it's got the signed buckle. If this thing ever decides to focus, even blurry, you can see that. But yeah, dive watch on leather, C in court. But obviously, I think rubber or a metal bracelet for these things definitely the way to go if you want to jump in the pool. It's summertime. Let's use these things for what they're built for. So anyways, there's that dome sapphire crystal. So instead of closing you out with a lume shot, which again, the lume on these things is pretty poor, I'll close you out with this. So anyways, that's my review of the Squalematic Atmos 60, my most expensive watch. I'll say it's one of my favorites, but who am I lying to? I mean, I've got about 6 watches now. I've really thinned out the herd. Again, I started off with 15. I'm down to about 6, so pretty much they're all my favorite right now. As far as, guys, if you're just starting out in this, one thing I would definitely recommend, quality over quantity. I remember one of the first things I did was I got into these watches. I bought myself a 12-slot watch box, and I had 1 or 2 watches to put in there, and that watch box looked real empty, y'all. So yeah, you can kind of get in a hurry to try to buy as many and fill it up as quick as you can, and you're going to end up buying some stuff that maybe you'll end up wasting your money on, because you'll think, what was I doing with that? So that's what happened to me, and that's why I sold a bunch of them off and bought watches that I liked more. So I'll go through all those eventually. But guys, anytime you sell your watches on eBay, you're going to take a hit for the depreciation of them being pre-owned. And then on top of that, eBay takes like, what, 10% of what you sell? So you just get double hit. The guys, again, that are on here, I mean, I get why they're trying to get, I understand why they're trying to get retail prices. They don't want to get bent over completely, but those are just the facts, Oh, and people will lowball you. So don't get mad when they lowball you. What I always like to do is, like, let's say I put up a watch for, say, $200, and someone sends in an offer for, I don't know, 100. I'll send them an offer back for like $1 million. So instead of being rude and saying, hey, not a big fan of lowballs, don't be a jerk, or whatever you want to write in those little messages to people on eBay, just send them back another counter offer of $1.5 million, and they usually shut up. Anyways, guys, this is, again, Squalematic Atmos 60. I apologize in advance for the poor quality of this video, the sneeze on there, but I'm in the dojo. It's time to get swole, y'all. So hopefully I'll see you in the future. Y'all have a great day, week, month, whenever you're watching this, man.